and human platform of highlighting, drawing attention to, and enabling some of the greater challenges we face in World Inc., our global community, the global family. Because whether you're professionals or not, are you not expecting to be parents? Or are you expecting to be parents? Wow, the world's population will truly be managed. By the way, everything I've shared with you, and by anything that might be remembered of me, I will be remembered by my 3 children. Jordan, Luke, Francesca, 17, 14, 13. And if anybody wanted to know of where all the knowledge and experience and wisdom now comes into play, try managing 3 teenagers. Reflecting the world that influences them against the values I wish to instill. Because my legacy will be left in my name. When you say your name in a community from which you've come from, they will talk about your parents, your grandparents, or they will make a reference to you, they're not. Well, in any country of real currency, by the way, we need to remove this developing and developed label. Everything I learned in the Youth Charter was learned from the so-called developing countries. They still have a spirit of Ubuntu. Ubuntu means community. It means interdependency. It means a common aim. It means individual identities collected in that ability to come together. Every experience I saw within the African continent and within the continents that I've travelled, because it truly broadens the mind, convinces me of this, that's why I still advocate it, and I'm now, by way of resurfacing in 2011, intending to engage, motivate, and hopefully inspire you to make the difference that you can make, but do not abdicate your responsibility. Do not expect someone else to do it. And if you do this much, as part of a collective, this much, you will make your impact, you will fulfill your potential, and you will become everything that you can be. The 3 absolute pearls of wisdom that I will leave with you are this. There are 3 words you will have to learn to use with a correct. Is where I was nearly stabbed to death, and that's what I most frightened by way of gang culture. But it was the caretaker who is no longer there, because cuts and efficiency drives means the caretaker is no longer there. I wonder if you had not been there on that day, if I'd be here now. But I walked into a leisure centre, funded by philanthropist Michael Sobo. Why should I ever remember Michael Sobo? Because his was the name, the creative partnership with the Islington Council that produced the Sobo Sports Centre. And I spent £1.50 of my hard-earned money that I negotiated with my mother to buy my first entrance in what was up to attract me to want to go back after school. And we were causing trouble, we were chasing girls, because that's what we do, it's what we all do, don't we? Oh, sorry, yeah, chase boys as well, girls can chase girls, sorry. There's that choice. But the balance was, I walked through a door and it changed my life. The martial arts, and my chosen discipline at the time, karate, helped me conclude my finishing school of characteristical development. And by that time then, I had social deficiencies that need to be met. I had, and inspired in your respective career paths and choices, to remember that it doesn't happen individually, it happens collectively. Muhammad Ali said, me, we. And I use that all the time, having had the opportunity to go to Louisville, Kentucky, at Muhammad Ali Institute and Centre, and then hosting the Muhammad Ali scholars, who, like you, reflect, hopefully, ideals that he fought for, he stood for. That's all that drove me. Pledges and the spirit in which those pledges were given are committed to. That is what the Youth Charter is still about, will be about, and continue to be about. It has now become my life's work. At times an obsession, at times extreme. Because in the end I was to learn. I was going to be exposed to and made to experience what the young people, £11.30 bought my first karate suit, which I again had to negotiate from my mother, because she was the bank for me money, because I did love spending. Consumerism's always been there. Adidas Santiago, the Adidas brand, shrewdly using inspirational achievers to attract the young hearts and minds, who do the extra paper round, who do all that was required. so that they could be and would have the extra cred amongst their social and cultural peers. The person who managed that Michael Sobel Sports Centre was David Emery, the big 400 metre hurdles gold medalist. Don't be shy about it, because it doesn't really happen that way. By the way, faces in the crowd is something I'm so excited about that when you do go to the site and it's launched, you do not have an excuse when challenged or engaged by way of life, or people like me who might come into your space and simply move you off the comfort zone and get some nice, squeaky clean, isn't it? Squeaky bum time, ladies and gentlemen. But at the end of the day, it will always be about where were you and what did you do to respond? Remember any of the global events that have made us step up and take difference by way of the look that has made the difference in our lives. And on July 7th, within 48 hours, I was in Beeston because I wanted to know why £20-odd million of sporting investment in the John Charles Centre or Stadium had not engaged those very some young men who were born in this country but could not relate to it sufficiently enough to become so disaffected, to become radicalised. By the way, I can qualify that because I invited young Asian men from the Beeston Manningham area to Moss Side during the 2003 10th anniversary celebrations. We were already developing inter-neighbourhood initiatives because if you're answer to the streets, you will know that prevention has to be better than cure, whether you're economically, socially, culturally or spiritually motivated. I'd like to think you aim around holistically corporate, global citizens. But I do know this, there's nothing that you're going to achieve within your respective pathways of career choice that will mean anything or have any value unless you are aware of what I've now made you aware of. So your eyes have been opened, your ears are not listening but hearing. If you hear, you feel. If you feel, you will not touch but you will embrace. You will not look, you will see. If you see, when you smell, you will smell a natural emotional instinct that comes not from the 99% of fitness that is between the ears, but continually push the boundaries of seeing how we add value. Because at the moment, I believe that the Olympic ideals, the Paralympic ideals, and sport may have sold its soul. If it does so, it cannot profess to want to engage, motivate, and inspire the young hearts and minds that will become the future global citizens. I can say that to you because by 2000, on the way to Los Angeles, I ended up in Manchester. By the way, whatever journey you've got plotted in life, if your destiny is different to it, you will not get there. That's why you must know what you're good at. And if you're not sure, as a result of knowing what you're good at, what you can become, then you're simply, there's a difference between killing time and wasting time. Wasting time is a choice. Killing time is a decision. You must know the difference between choices and decisions. In 1993, I made a life-changing decision. We were bidding for a 2000 Olympics. A 14-year-old schoolboy is gunned down on the streets of Moss Side. His name was Benji Stanley. And it still makes me angry. How could a young boy, schoolboy with basketball talent and potential, academically gifted, be shot dead by someone not much older than him? I've been in Moss Side after the riots. Mrs. Thatcher thought sport was for the unclean. By the way, she's one of the single most impressive leaders I've ever met, and I've met many. Not because of the good or bad decisions she made, her ability to react and respond to when democratically challenged in a politically expedient way. By that, it saw this Schwarzer sitting around a table of old farts, as Will Carter would call them, and then have to survive and hold my own. It was not easy. In fact, the first meeting of the GB Sports Council was more intimidating, was more frightening than any World Championship final. But then I took in with me all of that social, cultural and spiritual energy and experience. I served under 5 prime ministers over 25 years. God knows how many ministers of state. And I've been in every single department of Whitehall. And you're right, it don't work. But so what? Those things never work. Because what I found when I went back on the streets that I'd come from, when the world was looking at Manchester and Moss Side because of the Olympic bid, was that sport had lost its way in the role that I believed it should make its mark. And I launched a youth charter. And if you go to Google and you just put youth charter, you'll get the website. And that is more of a legacy and currency of achievement than any of my 5 world titles, anything that I've achieved previously or will achieve in the future. And I'll qualify that and quantify that in some way. But if I said to you every single thing that I proposed, presented, articulated, not only in Moss Side, where we had to walk our talk, 2 rival gangs brought together by a football team, but they still thought I was an Uncle Tom, like Jesse James, like Jesse Evans. They still thought I was a coconut. So you take your suit and tie off, and you engage in some good old-fashioned Aki thump. And the Aki thump I do is still be able to walk that talk that suggests I can break a 1-inch thick piece of pine incredibly quickly. Your ribs are not that thick, so why would you want to go there? But you still need to be able to demonstrate it. So we brought 20 young, lost, primal, aggressive male egos, and we had what I call the dance. We danced for 2 hours, and after that, we reached an accommodation. They were all alive to tell the tale. They put their guns down. And you know the thing I'm most proudest of? Last year, I invited them all to the office. And you know what? They're all alive. They're all parents. They understand the havoc they were causing. It didn't stop the killing. A generation on, over 200 lives have been lost under the age of 21. A local, what people call phenomenon, has become a national way of life. The East End is hosting the Games. The Olympic truce, therefore, should be in every region, in every city, and in every community. Already. The Olympic truce should already be on our streets. That would remove the conflict. It would tell those young people who have been failed by society that they still have hope in the very societies that have failed them. When you go to the Youth Charter site, you'll see all that and more. The Legacy Manifesto will be launched in 2011, pre-Olympic year. But sometimes you have to stop. And if I said from Benji Stanley's legacy, his tragedy has become an opportunity of social and human development that has seen the United Nations, all the major governing bodies of sport, all the host and big countries who aspire to hosting a Games or a major event, making some sort of social and human commitment. Will it be delivered? I do not know. Because that doesn't happen unless you become fully engaged. You become fully aware. Everyone talks about hearts and minds, and you start looking at your soul. Because that's where that spirit comes from. Don't ever be disconnected from it or not recognize it. I was in South Africa for the 2010 Soccer World Cup, and with all that I witnessed, I am absolutely, unequivocally convinced that sport is rediscovering its rightful role and absolutely invaluable play. The challenge, the agendas that I was to learn always come when you attempt something of the Youth Charter's. I'd be considered outside of the tent. But then I went and built my own tent. And the fire burned in the canvas, and then you went in when you wanted to, and you left when you didn't like it. That's called individual choice. That's called the freedoms that, by way of last week, were being remembered. But the one thing you must remember is that whatever's here now, and whatever will happen in the next, God knows how many days and how many months, I keep putting it on the BT Tower in London. But for me, it'll be when that flame is lit, or when that flame goes out, as to what that legacy will be.